Let's take a look at how slick Madison Avenue advertising agencies create illusions of action-packed video scenes. First, let's take a look at the entire 16-second clip. What we're going to do is we're going to extract individual frames and save them as a snapshot. The first one comes at the 5-second mark, 23 frames into it. And we're going to save that one. And as you will find, the entire action video is actually made from this still posing. Okay. Next frame comes at 6 seconds at the 25th frame. The subject has discharged the weapon. You see the muzzle blast. You see the weapon has apparently recoiled. All right, let's move to the 7th second and the 23rd frame within that. And after the second shot, the subject has now resteadied after the first shot, the subject has resteadied their aim, ready to take the second shot, which occurs at the 9-second mark. And 15 frames into it, again, the weapon has apparently recoiled from having been fired. And our final frame comes at the 10-second mark and the 6th frame within that, where the subject has resteadied their aim after the second shot in preparation for the third and final shot. Okay, we're going to close our video software and let's take a look at the 5 snapshots. Here they are along the bottom. There's the first one, second, third, fourth, and 5th. Let's start with the first one. All right, we're going to load this puppy up. Now, to give us some help here, I've made a transparent overlay, which I will now place over the subject, and I will position it. We've made some outlined marks here so that we can see where I've drawn, and I'll zoom in for you here so we can get this pretty close to being right. And I've zoomed in and drawn a red lines beginning at the subject's eyes directly to the rear iron sight of the weapon, thusly. And then we've also, you can see, drawn a crosshair where the end of the muzzle is against the background of the shirt and the overall background of the picture to show what is the position of the muzzle of the weapon. And then I've kind of traced some of the features in the hands and around the watch and the cuff of the shirt. Okay, so having done that, we will dismiss this photo and we will go to the second photo, or the third. And again, we will take our transparency and mount that on top of the second photo, and you will find that even though the human subject had apparently fired a weapon and it had recoiled, and now the subject is taking aim at the target. And let's zoom in and compare how the overlay matches up, not almost perfectly, but in fact perfectly. We're taking it from the center of the subject's eyes to the rear iron sight of the weapon. And you will notice that the cross where the muzzle position is exactly as it was in the previous picture. And as we zoom out, the lines that were traced around the features in the hands and the end of the cuff of the shirt line up precisely. So let's dismiss that second snapshot, and let's go to the third and final snapshot where the subject is taking aim. The subject has now fired 2 rounds from the weapon, and the weapon has recoiled, and the subject is taking aim for the third and final shot in the video. And again, we see that if we bring the outline to the rear iron sight, you will notice that it matches perfectly. The end of the muzzle is in the exact same position as the other two, and the traces around the features of the hand and the end of the cuff are intact exactly as they were in the first two snapshots. Now, let's take a quick look at the recoil shots, and I've made a different overlay for that one. And I'll place the overlay on here, and what we've done is we've got a little red line. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of get a sense of where the muzzle intersects with the top of the image and its relation to the rest of the picture. So as you can see, that lines up, and I've even drawn a horizontal line, red line, approximating the distance of the muzzle to the subject's hairline right there at his head. Let me bring that down just a little bit more so you can see that's what we have there. And I'll take it back up because that red line is interfering just a little bit with, we want to capture the outline of the muzzle. Okay, so that is the recoil of the first shot. So I'm going to dismiss that picture. And then we will load the second shot, the recoil of the second shot, and again we'll drag our overlay onto it, and let's see how well it matches. And we're going to just drag this puppy right up there, and we're going to zoom in. And if I take this over, the muzzle intersects with the top of the imagery at the exact same location. You can tell the red line is intersecting with the hairline of the subject and so forth. So the action-packed movie of the subject taking 3 shots is actually no shots were ever fired. The muzzle blast and the recoil were simply photoshopped in, and the audio of the picture was enhanced with a sound effect of the actual, to make it sound like the gun's going off. Oddly enough, the subject, the weapon in this picture, even though in the original video you hear the muzzle blast, this picture shows a handgun with a silencer attached to the end of it. This is all fake, voodoo, black magic, smoke and mirrors. It is an illusion. It is a deception. No shots were fired. That is a still photo of the subject. The rest was done by a slick Madison Avenue advertising agency.